Welcome to Apex Esports League. Tonight we are on Project Cars 2 on the PS4, and we have the final round for the Ginetta GT5 challenge. And tonight's race is Sonoma Raceway GP. A little bit of a different format to our usual rounds. The final round, we just have the one final race, and it's some big points, so it's double that of the normal main race. So there is 240 points up for grabs for a victory. So the session will be 15-minute practice, weather is clear, and then a 15-minute qualifier, weather is medium cloud, and then for the final race is 30 laps, weather is heavy cloud through to clear with a mandatory pit. So we have a 0-1-43 entering the final round with a significant lead on the championship. So he's got 962 points. So a clean race tonight will guarantee victory for the championship. However, for the spot on the podium in the championship, we have Sami, DK, Rera, Demon, Mickliffe, Rooney and Corby all up for a spot on the podium, and potentially Gallen too actually. So with 240 points available for a win. So cars over in pit lane already. Last week we saw a 0-143 take a double win again. So he's had some very good strong wins throughout the series. In the sprint race he qualified second but then still took victory. We had Sami who took pole position for the sprint race, and a 0 did take the fastest lap. And then in the main race we had a 0 qualified pole take victory, and we had Whacked Will come through with the fastest lap, and that was a 1:35.99. So that was a qualifying pace in the main race, so it was a very quick lap indeed. And if you're joining us for the stream, don't forget to hit that follow button. We appreciate the growing support for Apex eSports League. Corby a little bit loose on that corner. A bit of a blind crest coming up around that bend. And we do have 14 cars on the grid for tonight. We are mixing a couple, so DG and Balaki unable to make it tonight. We may get a couple more join in if they can make it in before the race starts. Sometimes you usually get a couple of later entries in session 2, but we've just got the one session, so they'll need to at least get in on the qualifying session within the last 5 minutes, otherwise they will miss the race start. It looks like Coco Dog just running out wide there. Looks like Dirty Monkey wrapping up first lap. Looks like the hairpin. And I should be able to last that with my voice tonight. I had a shocking flu last week, and then my voice was struggling to survive the broadcast. But that has started to improve drastically, so you should hear a lot more of me and I won't be as raspy. Don't forget to make yourself known if you're joining in on the chat. Say hello, let us know who you think is going to take pole and a win. And then don't forget we do have those sound controls down below where you can play with the stream, put various sound effects over the stream, and also cheer and applaud your favourite drivers. We saw Gallen last week take a DQ for the main race after him having to go into the pits after an incident. Went in to the pits a bit quick and then seeing himself get a DQ for the race. And last week Guerra had a good finish in the main race. He, after qualifying 9th, ended up finishing in 4th position. And then in the sprint he qualified 9th and finished 7th. And the round before we saw Guerra get on the podium in both races. But seen him up in 4th position currently on the championship ladder. So he has 580 points with DK1 Rush just ahead of, sorry, he's got 560 if I read correctly. And then DK Rush has 31 points ahead of him in position 3. First times coming on the board. Rooney coming in with a 145.5. And Zero, not disappointing, coming in with a 142 for a first time on the board. Gallen's just exceeded track limits, looks like he's gone for a spin. May not have taken any damage, so we can't see him heading off into the pits. Have Corby back with us. He's been away for a couple of rounds, so welcome back, Corby. He's had a bit of bad luck in the Ginettas in the start. Oh, Philly getting the car up on the 2 wheels and a big slide, and that's some pretty heavy wall contact. He'll be bringing that car back in. And so we had Corby having some bad luck being spun around and flipped early in the series. Hopefully he has a bit more luck tonight. We have in Sam, he's coming second in the championship. He's got 668 points, so he doesn't have enough to be able to steal away a win for the championship, as it only would see him with 908 points if he does take victory. With a Zero sitting on 962 points, it's not enough to take that away unless a Zero was to be in a fair few at-fault incidents that could cost him some points. And Sami we had in the sprint race at Alton Park last week. He qualified pole and then finished on the podium in position 3. And then after qualifying 7th in the main race, managed to climb back up into 2nd position. We had a very unlucky qualifying session, letting him start towards the back. Then we did see him climb back up through the ranks in that main race, and then drop back a little bit again, and then climb back up. So if he had have had a lot more luck in that qualifying session and qualified towards the front of the pack, he could have potentially seen victory for that race. Zero still is the quickest out there at the moment with the 1:42.634. DK Rush second quickest with a 1:43.281. So 0.6 off the quickest time out there. Seeing a fair bit of variety in time so far. It's been pretty tight. Usually seeing a difference of the field around the 7 to 8 second mark. The first opening laps of Sonoma. So far we're seeing 19 seconds with Gallen and Philly Manili left to actually get a time on the board. And then most of the courses have been short courses. It is a longer track for the Sonoma GP. We might jump on for a lap with DK Rush. Coming on the long pit straight. Into big uphill left and then following into a very sharp right turn. And it is on the crest, is where we saw them go slipping. It's very hard to find that exit curve as you come up over that crest, and then the car slips a little bit. And another crest again as they go along the hill, and then down in and around the side of that hill now. A hairpin right, and then we go around the base of the hill. Pretty flat stick, another crest. Comes down for a turn, and this one is a very long corner. It is quite a tricky one. There's going to be a lot of passes seen here. And on to the back section of the track. So into the hairpin. You can see the other variation of the track that goes off, out and around. And then very fast section of the track. Holds a pretty flat stick all the way through. Feather it through on that exit. And then on the back straight, flat foot just about the whole way around. A nice line. Can see get that car right round with the foot down. And a very tricky hairpin here. Don't want to cut that corner too much. And then you do have that wall if you misjudge this pace going around. Of course, that tyre wall on the bend of pit straight, and that is a lap around Sonoma GP, courtesy of DK Rush. The DK's time's been bumped down. Sami's come through with a 1:43.201. Thanks for joining us, Vijay Wing Cup. Yes, did you just get on board for DK Rush? Or did you just jump on for a lap around Sonoma? Rooney's doing all, he's really sliding that car out. That was some huge pace. That was the corner I was mentioning. You can keep flat foot around that bend on that back straight. Rooney's time is only 0.03 off of Sami's time, so they are pretty tight. Is that an improvement of time? No, it doesn't improve that time around. Bear is doing well with a 1:43.925. Only driver to get a 1:42 so far is Zero. And that was one of his first opening laps as well, so he hasn't been able to beat that, so it was a pretty golden lap to have straight off the mark. Philly Manili in the 1:44s. Positions 2 to 6 are in the 143 mark. Billy's only in 144s, and then we have Kakadu, Dirty Monkey, Coco, Dog in the 145s. Kakadu showing a fair bit of scrapage going on that side. Looks like D-Train that was just in behind Kakadu. So he's just wrapping up a lap here as well. Keeping some pretty consistent pace behind Kakadu at this stage. We should probably see him make an improvement on lap time here. No, it doesn't improve it. And Steph currently with a 152. Steph in the championship is currently coming, where are we, 16th with 172 points. So those just ahead of her Balaki and Kakadu. And Balaki isn't able to make it tonight. Corby's got a time on the board now as well. She's got a 157, 15 seconds off pace. Alan's got a time on there. He's sitting with 146.348. Just had Kakadog, Corby and Sami invalidate their laps for exceeding times. Well, a little bit of lag going on with Zero's car. Looked like he'd actually just pulled that car up for a moment. Just brought that car in. A look at the timings. This last lap around, Zero set at 154. So he's done 7 laps. His best lap was a 142. Oh, Sami has just come in with a quicker time, a 143 as well. 143.201. It's only 0.002 off Rooney. Oh, now we've just lost a 0, so that's what's going on. So that bit of lag, we've seen him disconnect. Zero hopefully can get back in. We should see him at least get back in for the qualifying session. We won't see him reappear here. But there is not much difference between Sami and Rooney's time. 0.002 is the gap between these two. Sami is on a flyer here. That's a lot of pace, a little bit of traffic coming up. I think that looks like Steph's car. Nice weave around. Plays it cautious on the curb. There's 40 seconds remaining of practice. Hopefully Azura gets back in. Has rejoined the session now. Well, no, left again. He's having some tech issues. It is lucky for a 0, so if he does have an issue and isn't able to actually make the race, he's got enough points to he could still be the series champion. We've seen some very consistent, fast pace from a 0 throughout the series. And we're seeing there's probably going to be a fair bit of action around Sonoma. It is a pretty tricky track, especially in these cars. They're a little bit lighter, so they get a little bit flighty over those crests. And the longer course, we've had a lot of the short courses for these cars, that we've seen some very tight racing throughout the series. We'll probably see a little bit of spacing going on, especially over the course of 30 laps. There's 80 seconds remaining for drivers to get their last laps in. Gallons has brought that car back in. Sticker Dog's showing a fair bit of damage to that car, so he's got a broken side window. Not sure if that's an AI that's driving that car at this stage. Steph's car with that black and red livery on the front, almost make it look like the front of a Porsche. A very nice sleek car, these Ginetta G40s. The Zero has rejoined. And we'll see him re-enter for the qualifying session. We did see a Zero, whilst he was still in the session, setting a 142. Then we have Absami and Rooney come through with 143s, not much between them. And also DK Rush in the 143s, only 0.080 off the pace of the 143. And then we're seeing the first 7 cars around the 1 second mark. So we'll be heading into qualifying session now. Should see a Zero enter into the session in a moment. The game session has now progressed by an hour. Game session time is 10 AM. Practice was 9 AM, weather was clear, and there's now medium cloud cover. Could be slightly cooler. Oh, Steph's just copped herself a grid place penalty, speeding in the pits. Just the one grid place. Here we go, Zero's just loaded in. Hopefully he has some better tech issues. Luck. We haven't seen him disconnect before. We'd had Gallen having some bad disconnect luck at the start of the series. He's managed to resolve that, which is good luck for Gallen, as he usually dropped out at really good positions in the race. It's very disappointing when you drop out after a good race and have a shot at a good finish, and that goes away just from an internet dropout. Fair bit of traffic out on track. That could see a little bit of slower pace for the qualifying. We're seeing around the 143 mark. We'll probably see about 8 or 9 laps get in on the board. And the series has been forced to default setups, so drivers haven't been able to customise their cars. Oh, that was Wira just ahead of Philly, getting that car up onto 2 wheels. Philly looking to get around. Wira on approach into the final hairpin. Checked out Mick Cliff in the session. We've seen Mick is currently in 6th position with 486 points. Demon Effects is ahead of him with 526 points. And Mick is closely defending off Rooney and Corby. So Rooney is sitting on 461 points. Corby's with 439. Cliff finished in 11th after qualifying 8th in the sprint race last week, and then he qualified 6th, finished 6th in the main race. We did see him up towards the front of the pack in that main, then he did start to dwindle off after a little bit of bad luck. Oh, and he's just ran that car off. And Mick does drive with a controller as well, so he does really well to that car around the track on control. This game is not the easiest to use on control. Nice broad slide in that rear by a Zero. It's going to be quite slippery out there at the moment. saw a 0 come in with that fast time straight off the mark. Usually we see a little bit of a slower time and then start seeing some improvements, but this time around a 0 just came in flat out. Gallen sets first time, it's 1:47. I think Gallen got a 1:45, 1:46 in the practice session. Rooney's just come through with 1:43.915. He's about 0.6 of a second off his quickest time in the practice. That's pretty good for an opening lap. Oh, that's just cost him. Kakadu hasn't been able to make all the races this series. Kakadu is currently coming 15th. He's got 186 points with Balaki ahead of him with 233 and Whacked-Wheel with 243. And both are not here at the moment. This means he'll be definitely moving up the ladder just by arriving and finishing. Dog's done well for 1:45, and the 0 has just come through with another 1:42. I think it was a 1:42.6 we saw him set in the practice session. So that's much quicker pace, and we didn't see any other driver get into the 1:42 mark. So if we see a repeat of the practice session, if a 0 does not disconnect, we're getting a ghosted car. Ghosting is off on the game, but however we do sometimes still see it. So not sure if that's a little bit of latency that's going on. There's actually a difference and allows the car to go through. It's very odd. Sami's pushed some pretty big pace with a 1:43.080. 081 should I say. Oh, and he's just followed suit from Kakadu. It can tend to happen when you tuck in really tight behind someone. You tend to start following their lines, and then if they go off, you tend to follow them. Especially when that car is now actually sort of blocking your markings that you're looking to find your racing line and your brake markers. We have 4 drivers in the 1:43s, and Kakadu, D-Train, Coco Dog in the 1:44s. And we've just had Kakadu run wide there. Some issues with the car at the moment. And a 0 has just come through with another quicker time as well, a 1:42.3. Colby is sitting in the 1:45s. Dirty Monkey is coming through with 1:47.5, so he's 5 seconds off pole time. We're about 19 seconds separating the field the last time. That's now currently at 11. We do have Steph needing to get a time on the board. Cliff just gets around Wirra. Showing a lot of pace at the moment. Got a 1:53. He's got a fair bit to be able to shave off. Should see him move up the ladder a little bit more. Zero's just brought that car into pits. Steph needing to get a time on the board, and she's just on pit straight now. Should be first timed lap. She's going to need a pretty strong qualifying position to wane off that grid place penalty. In her current position, if she does stay in 13th, oh, she's just run that off wide. It's unfortunate this lap's not going to count for her. And there is 25 points up for qualifying pole in this race. So we have 240 points for a win, and then 10 points for the fastest lap. So there's 275 points up for grabs for a clean sweep in the final round. But as I was saying, that's not enough to take out a 0 spot for the championship win. The 0 only just needs a clean race, so he would be fine if he was to drop out and not contend. He would have enough points to win the championship. Gallen's doing really well, currently qualifying 4th with a 1:43.676. And DK Rush and Sami setting the next 2 quickest times in the practice session, bumping up only after a 0 dropped out. While for that camera to focus in on Rooney as he goes past. Rooney not being able to make all the series events, but still has managed to stay in 7th position for the championship with 461 points. He's just ahead of Corby, 25 points behind Mick Cliff. I didn't get to see him make last week's round, and he only got to join in late in the week before, and then disconnected, so missed out on adding any extra points to his championship tally. D-Tone just crosses the line then, not improving that time. We have a 0 still in with the pole time. His last lap a little bit slower, it might have been coming out of the pits though. Gallen's come through with the 2nd quickest time, almost breaking into that 1:42 mark. Steph's been bumped back down into 14th position. She's going to have to dig deep and try and shave off a few more seconds, but she can try and start a little bit further up with that 1 grid place penalty. And Rooney's just snuck in front of Gallen. That's now 2 drivers in the 1:42 mark. We only had a 0 in the practice. And there's just under 3 minutes remaining of qualifying. Fair bit of swapping and changing going on towards the top end of the grid. As if we can see Rooney shave off half a second, he can take pole position. Gallen doing very well with this. We've got our first 4 drivers at 0.7 of a second is the difference between them. These are very tight. Don't forget, down below we have our social media links. If you haven't done so yet, head over to our Facebook page. If you're on Facebook, you can follow the page and you can be kept up to date with results and standings. There's also information there about joining our public groups so you can get involved in our racing. Or if you don't have it, there's other ways you can get involved. We're not only just on the PS4, but we are also on iRacing. We have iRacing events on Monday nights. Hope to be able to broadcast those races eventually as well. So that will be a stay tuned to see how that goes. We've really just been dabbling our feet in the water, just seeing how it goes with the iRacing. The Mick Cliffs really moved up into 5th position with a 1:43.259. We saw DK Rush being out there with the second quickest time and then quickly being pushed down. Oh, Mick's just cost him this lap. That'll be it for his qualifying session. No more opportunities to get in any quicker times. The DK Rush still a very quick time, and the Zero's brought that car into the pits. And that's cemented his qualifying time. Kakadu in 7th position. D-Train's just brought that car in as well. Kakadu's got some pretty big pace coming up along the pitch straight. This will be the last lap for these guys. Oh, a little bit of lag going on with Corby. It looked like he was about to run off track by going out wide on that corner, but then the car did just duck back in. Behind him, Kakadu's just ran off, so that's it for his qualifying session. Preliminarily in with a 1:45, so it's only 9.3 seconds separating the 14 cars. It's pretty tight. Our first 13 are only separated by 3.6 seconds. And that is qualifying complete. It is now just over a couple of minutes to get in these last laps. Rooney should have some time. He's definitely got enough time to wrap up this lap. Can he steal away pole position? Rooney, Gallen and DK all in there, set to do it. Corby's been known to always usually steal away a pole position. He hasn't had as much luck with that this series. Regularly we've seen Corby jump up to the top of the list in the last seconds of qualifying. He's brought that car into the pits as well. We only have Rooney, Coco Dog and Steph out on track at the moment. Seconds. Oh, that's just cost him big time. This lap's done for. And there we have it. Qualifying done for the final round of the Ginetta GT5 Championship. So we have a 0-1-43 taking pole position, followed by Rooney, Gallen, Sami, Mitcliffe, DK Rush, Kakadu, D-Train, Wira, Corby, Coco Dog, Philly Manili, Dirty Monkey, and Steph. And Steph has that one grid place penalty, which does not affect her here, so still starts with position 14. Over into getting ready for the final race of the series. Been a very exciting series, this one, with the short courses and default setups. Seen some spectacular tight racing from all our drivers. And it's probably going to be hard to try and get a zoomed out view for the start of the race. Zero's had some very good starts. Been getting away very quickly at the starts of the races. Cliff's sitting back in about 5th position. He tends to get away very quickly and gain a couple of positions. We'll probably see him jump up and be contending with Sami or Gallen on turn 1. It's probably going to be a few bumps and scrapes going through the first few corners as they go up that hill over those crests, and then once you have that thick heavy traffic going up over those blind corners, it's hard to get those lines right when there is traffic in front of you, as we saw when Kakadu ran off wide. I think it was Sami or DK Rush that was tucked in behind and followed suit. You're kind of hoping the car in front is going the right way as well when that happens. Here we are, all drivers hit ready to start the final race. Countdown begins. Emma Green and a little nudge by a zero, but you see Rooney dart up very quickly alongside. It is a very slow start by a zero. Gallen balked by him there. They tuck in single file as they approach turn one. Mick Cliff has jumped up into fourth position, so he's recovered one position. Pretty nice tight formation going up through turn two. A little bit of congestion going on down midfield. Looks like a pretty clean start. It'll be interesting here coming into the first hairpins. And Rooney is really putting on the pace. We're not getting a very good, well, the race times have now appeared. Rooney is leading by nearly half a second. So he's done very well. It was a very good jump at the start. Could potentially have been a jump start. We won't know unless we do see him peel off into the pits, as it doesn't come up on the race feed if that's the case. And a zero look to go for an outside pass. Down through the fast technical bit of the track. Some pretty good pace by Rooney. Zero is really honing in. A little bit of a lag skip going on with Zero. Hopefully there's no disconnect for him. That could potentially spell disaster when looking for a pass, especially when they are racing this tight. That's a very quick first lap out there. That's a very tidy line through the hairpin coming onto pit straight. Zero's lost a little bit of pace. He's lost about 100th of a second. The first lap down. Oh, that's a lot of speed by a zero that he's carried through on pit straight coming into turn one. Goes for an inside line. He is looking for opportunities to pass already. He's really picked up some pace. He's going to have to defend that line. Zero is darting side to side, and they're really pulling away from the rest of the pack. So Gallen now 2.6 seconds off the pace, and he's just dropped back again. Mick Cliff's moved up into third position. So a fair bit of change. Gallen has moved back up, and he's also looking to contend with Sami. And side by side, Zero and Rooney. Zero tucks back in. He's looking to go for another inside line, and Rooney moves over to block. Approach to the hairpin. Oh, will there be a switch back here? No, a zero gets that inside line, some pretty quick pace. Is it enough to be able to get ahead by a car length before the chicane? Yes, he does, just in time. There's almost a little bit of contact. I think there may have been a slight bit of touch. It was a very nice pass by a zero. And it already put a half-second lead, followed by that pass. A very nice line. It was the most perfect opportunity for a pass. And this is where a zero gets in his zone. Once he is out in front, he just puts that foot down and disappears from the rest of them. They're already pushing out to 0.7 of a second now. Rooney's going to have to really dig deep to keep that pace up and put some pressure onto a zero. Sami is in fourth position. The Mick Cliff, after qualifying in fifth, has now moved up into third position. Yeah. Oh, that's just cost him dearly. Got out onto that curb, and there's some wall contact as well. It's not a big hard hit, but that's dropped him down into eighth position. He's got a fair bit of traffic coming as well. Does everyone get around cleanly? Corby just gets around. That is lucky. Very unfortunate. It was doing well, and then come unstuck on that exit curb. And DK Rush looking to get around Kakadu. Kakadu moves over onto that inside line looking to defend, but DK was looking to go for an outside pass. Kakadu gets away for a much quicker line through the hairpin. That's where we saw the brilliant pass by a zero. Mick 6 recovering a bit of ground now. Take a little bit to get back up into third position. That was very unfortunate. Corby, a few lags, keeps going with Corby. And he's quickly honing in on Philly Manili. Philly probably going to be in for a bit of trouble. He's going to be having Corby looking for an opportunity to get around him very shortly. DK Rush is still trying to get back up around Kakadu. Very nice line. Goes for an outside pass. Kakadu brings that car right over for that corner. He did drop a tyre off, so it's cost him a little bit of time. DK get around, and we've got Azuro leading the race by 0.6, 0.7 now. So he's really pulling away from Rooney. Rooney's struggling to try and bring that car in and catch up on Azuro. Now he's got out in front. You can see very different lines taken by the two. Azuro's got a lot of pace through that hairpin, which is why we saw him get that pass on Rooney going through there. And cars starting to space out a fair bit already. We're into lap 4 of 30. DK is closing in that gap again. D-Train's just received a time second penalty. He's exceeded track limits and not abided by a slowdown. See how quickly he's catching up to Kakadu. Some good speed, almost reaches 180. For an opportunity to get around Kakadu. This is where we saw him. Kakadu dropped a tyre off here last lap around. Oh, Kakadu gets that up on 2 wheels. That's an opportunity for DK to get around. Oh, Kakadu may come in, almost making contact. That is very close. He brings that up just in time. The DK gets around. He's got 3 seconds to try and catch up to Gallon 350. He's currently in 4th position. He seems to be catching ground on Sami, who's currently in 3rd. And they are well and truly behind our race leaders. They're 6.4 seconds off Azuro. Rooney's started to bring that time in a little bit. He's nearly shaved off half a second. His pace is starting to pick up a fair bit. His last lap was a 1:42.821 and Azuro's was a 1:42.885. Rooney's pace has gotten quicker than Azuro's. Let's see how it changes as they cross the line here. We'll see the times on the boards change. Oh, and Rooney again quicker, 1:42.886. If he keeps this up, he will be looking to try and get around Azuro. Azuro is going to have to try and start defending Rooney in the next lap or so. He has no room for error. Rooney did drop off a bit of pace, so that's just cost him dearly. And a run off on the exit. That's just cost Rooney some more time. Azuro is climbing ahead now, nearly pushing that out to 1 second lead. While Rooney closes in, we're looking to see who else is in battle. Guerrero is looking to take on D-Train for position 12. Got some very quick pace around that hairpin. Rooney's just taken a time second penalty as well as Gallon. But if Rooney is to get ahead of Azuro now, he's going to have to do so by the time second penalty that is received. We'll go and have a look at just what those penalties are in a moment. Very quick inside line by Wirra. He's really closing in on D-Train. D-Train nearly goes off wide. He uses that full exit curb. That's where we saw Mick come undone, losing traction on that curb. So it is off camber on that exit. So it is very slippery. So when it's under heavy power and then you are sliding that car in that corner, that's when you will just continue to slide through, which we saw what happened to Mick. Rennie has closed that gap in again. He keeps teetering by about 0.3 of a second. Oh, that's the same spot we saw Mick get undone. Big slide and put into the wall. It's going to give an opportunity for Sami to now catch up. And they are lapping, I think that's Steph's car at the moment, so she's a lap down now. Is going to be able to have a shot, so we'll have a look. So Rooney is wearing a 3-second penalty, Gallen a 2-second penalty, and then D-Train also a 2-second penalty. Zero is looking very safe out in front now. This is his complete utter comfort zone. Once he usually gets to about 2.5 to 3 seconds, he just starts to disappear. So he's now got 7.8 seconds from Rooney after that slide. And he would have seen him wearing a 3-second time penalty as well. Oh, a little bit of steering damage going on. That was a pretty hard side hit. He did hit it pretty flat on though. There may not be too much suspension damage. It may just be some aero. He's bringing him to the pits. So this serves as his mandatory pit. I'm not sure how the cars are going for fuel. I think 22 laps, 29 litres should be enough fuel to get around. An early pit now by Rooney. Won't be too bad as long as he doesn't have too much damage to contend with. It looks like a pretty quick stop. He's probably used that opportunity just to get in now. Especially if there is some aero damage to that car, as he'll be losing some time. And if he waits off another 10 laps, also it's going to cost him dearly over the course of the entire race. A good decision to bring that car in now. You can expect Azuro will stay out there for as long as possible. He does like to pit as late as he can in the race. Sami has 9.4 seconds to catch up on Azuro. And with that kind of lead at this point, if no mistakes happen, there wouldn't be a much chance that a pit stop could really go wrong. That would cost Azuro a position at this rate. But if he manages just to keep consistent and safe out there, he's going to be pretty secure for taking a victory in the final round. Gallen's got a couple of seconds. He's not too far behind Sami at the moment. I'll bring up some statistics. So we've had Zero take 6 pole positions, so his average qualifying position has been position 2. He's had 8 wins. His average race position is 1, so victory. So he's doing really well. So that's an average of 120 points per race. So Zero has won every race in the series so far. Can he make it 9 consecutive wins? We saw Azuro have a clean, flawless victory in the Formula Rookies. He took 9 wins from 9 races, and then tonight could be the same. That's some phenomenal driving by Azuro, very consistent and very quick. The Dirty Monkey's gone into the pits now as well. And he's just exiting now. That's the train we just saw going past. Kakadu's currently 4 seconds behind Corby. Kakadu's in 6th position. Last lap around a 1:47.1. Corby's done well to move up into 5th position. This car showing a few scrapes. Cars do tend to show a bit when there is a bit of lag that goes on with them. Because it will register the car has made contact somewhere but actually hasn't, but it will actually show it visually on the car. But the car won't be impacted at all. And the game settings for this as well is performance impacting damage. There's no mechanical failures, so the drivers can't kill an engine. They can always try and limp that car back into the pits. That also prevents tyres coming off and the likes. DK doing well, last lap around a 1:44.8. Sami setting a 1:44.4 and a 1:44.1. Some pretty good times out there for race pace. And that's with a fair bit of fuel, so they're carrying 26.8 litres. We've seen the cars out there with about 8 or 9 litres in the qualifying session and practice, carrying much heavier loads of fuel, and that's not at choice by the drivers, that is because it is forced default setups. So the game will load the maximum amount of fuel required to actually fulfill the race up to the maximum of the actual tank capacity. These things can carry actually a fair bit of fuel. We shouldn't need them to do any splashes of fuel in their pit stops. Unless of course the drivers do prefer the heavier feel of the cars, they can always do so. Drivers can change out tyres once they do head into the pits as well. A fair bit of spacing going on now. We'll make our way through the grids. Steph currently on lap 9, so she's now 2 laps down. I'm sure if she's had an incident. I haven't seen if she's had to go in for a pit stop. There's a few scrapes on the car. That's either Philly or Wira that's just coming up behind her at the moment. Dirty Monkey currently coming in 13th position, last lap around a 1:55.230. He's got about 11 seconds until he catches up to Philly. Oh no, Philly's missing the front end of the car. He's taken a hit. That car is struggling to steer as well. You cannot see the bonnet on that car. It's going to be a long way home. You might as well just probably get out off track and take that extended part of the track. Not only comes onto technical, but he's trying to stay out of trouble for the rest of them. I think that's Gallon and Coco Dog both going past at the moment. Yeah, that is a fair bit of damage for Philly. That's unfortunate. Sorry, that was Dirty Monkey that was just going past. About 4 cars in the white livery schemes. So Dirty Monkey in 12th position. D-Train Barbado in 11th position. He's got about 8 seconds to catch up on Wira. We're currently sitting in 10th position. And Mick Cliff, after having that spill, fell from 3rd position. He's in the 9th position. Didn't really take any damage, so that is lucky for Mick. Coco Dog is in 8th position. About 7 seconds between him and Kakadu. And Kakadu is starting to close in on Rooney. Oh, not now, is just locked up coming onto that corner. That could have ended very badly. He got control of that car after locking that back left tyre up on approach into the corner. He came in quite quickly, and that was an off-camber crest as well, so that could have seen him completely barrel roll out into that corner. But he managed to get that under control nicely. Ooh, just cuts that corner as well. A little bit off focus now after that little bit of a potential spill. Looked like Corby was going to run out wide there, but it was just a bit of lag going on. So Rooney, after having that accident, drops from 2nd position to 6th position. He's got a little bit of catching up to do, and he is wearing a time second penalty as well. It was 3 seconds last time we looked. Corby is sitting in 5th position. He's got 10 seconds to catch up on Gallen in 4th position. Gallen showing a few scrapes up the side, that left side of his car. He's got 5 seconds behind 3rd position, which is DK1 Rush. He's got some pretty good consistent pace out there as well, just been in the 144 marks consistently those last few laps. So lap 13, we're almost halfway through the race. And then over to Sami, who's currently in 2nd position, managing to move up pretty quickly after Rooney had the spill and slid off into the wall. However, Rooney has served his mandatory pit. We do need to see a 0, Sami, DK, Gallen and Corby all pit in. He's only 36 seconds behind. But he's going to move up pretty quickly. If he did swap out tyre compound as well, cannot recall whether these cars only have the 1 tyre compound. Some of these cars do only have the all-rounder slicks. Otherwise, it usually does have the hard slicks or the soft slicks. Would you have just lost someone? Someone may have retired. Not sure who we just had drop out. And over to our race leader. And he's lapped Kakadu. 0 running a race on his own all the way out in front. 15-second lead as he approaches the halfway mark in the race. I think we've seen Philly Manilli. He must have retired. It does not say that he has disconnected, so he must have retired that car. He's probably got into the pits after that and found that he's going to have quite a lengthy repair time. He's probably opted to retire from the race. 0 now catching up to Steph. So Steph will be shown the blue flag. Should probably move over and let him through on pit straight. Oh no, she's just gone off. She spun out in the hairpin. I think she's going to try and turn that round, get into the pits. She's going to have to do it very quickly, otherwise it's going to DQ her. Yeah, she's got around time to, once you start going the wrong way, the game quickly tells you to turn around, otherwise you will get disqualified. Time second penalties haven't increased. Gallen's wearing 2 seconds. Rooney is wearing 3 seconds. Don't forget to use those sound effects down below as well to cheer on your favourite drivers. 0 is doing some fantastic laps out there. Some very good consistent pace, which is why he's now nearly pushing that lead out to 16 seconds. Don't forget, if you are new to our streams, hit that follow button. We appreciate the support to help Apex Esports League grow. Don't forget, you can always get involved in our races. Next week we are starting the Toyota 86 Championship. We'll be running the Toyota GT86 Rocket Bunnies. And it is custom set up, so it's going to be some pretty fast racing. Oh, we've just had someone else drop out as well, I think. Oh no, it's not Steph, it's dropped out. Not sure who we've lost. Sami in second position. DK Rush still 6 seconds behind. A fair bit of space happening, which we haven't seen too much of in the series. So this longer track was expected. We're bringing the much longer track for the finale race. It is always the endurance race for the finale. See some good action over the longer course. And last lap around at 0 set a 1:43.8. He's really getting those lap times down pretty quick. As the fuel load starts to drop down, we'll probably see another 1:42. But 0 can get a clean sweep in the final round. It'd be a great way to finish off what could be 9 consecutive wins, taking out victory in every race for the series. And for that to be the second time round, he's been the only driver over the course of the 12 months we've been doing Apex Esports League to have actually achieved a full 9 race wins in a series. So, very well done to a 0. So we're in 6th position. So Steph's got that car back out. She mustn't have too much damage, so it was a reasonably quick pit stop. And Rooney's dropped back down into 11th position now. So he's made another error potentially. I don't think he's taken any damage. I'm going to work out who it is that we have also lost. Oh, it was Dirty Monkey that we lost. So he's disconnected. Oh, and Demon Effects has just joined in. But it is only the one race, so he won't be able to get in. Late join is okay when we have the 2 race format. It was just the single race. Jump on. We've got some time. Actually, no, Gallen's just peeled off into the pits. That's a quick stop for Gallen. It's now serving his mandatory. Yeah, so no addition of fuel. Ample fuel to finish off the race. Just been a quick tyre change and go. And with our social media links down below, our bit.ly/Apex Esports League is our YouTube channel. It is a funny looking link, however, since it's only a small channel, it is quite a very long URL to enter to go into that, so we've just signed up for a shortened URL. So if you do go to that, you can see all our previous broadcast races over the course of the year. You can go back and re-watch some of our series of races, as they don't stay up on Twitch forever, so we do store them all over on YouTube, so be sure to head over to that and subscribe to the channel as well. DK Rush still trying to close that gap in. So he's about 6 seconds behind Sami last time. He's nearly got that down to 5 seconds. Last lap around, he was 0.6 slower off the pace of Sami's last lap. Going to take a little bit before he can get in and catch up on Sami. However, with that difference in time, a slower pit stop could potentially see a position loss for Sami. And then now Zero pushing that lead out by 18 seconds, and he's just lapped D-Train. Pretty sure he's just about lapped most of the cars. Let's have a look and see how much behind. I think he's only to start lapping from 8th position on. So he's just lapped 9th position. He'd be catching up to Coca Dog pretty quick, so he's about 3.5 seconds quicker than Coca Dog's pace. And there's a 5-second difference between D-Train and Coca Dog, and he's already gone flying past D-Train. He's starting to lap the field. Last lap, it was a 1:43.7. His best lap at 1:42.5. So he has done a qualifying time already, and that is with double the fuel load. So that's some very quick pace by a Zero. So we'll bring that up while there's not too much action going on. So Rooney's wearing a 9-second penalty now. Gallon 350 is wearing 2-second time penalty. Corby's got 1 second. D-Train has 2. Kakadu 3. And then we've had the rest drop out. So we've lost 3 cars. We've only had Dirty Monkey actually disconnect. So it looks like... Oh no, the quickest lap out there is Rooney with 1:42.352. So we have a Zero setting a 1:42.540. If he can start pulling some very quick times as this car starts to drop weight out of fuel, he could still get a clean sweep. Not like he needs those points, but it would be a great way to wrap up the championship win, and that is Coca Dog just ahead of him now. Jump on. FX has just left. He did hope he'd potentially get in for a race. So he's currently ahead of Sami by 21.2 seconds. You can see some brilliant lines being taken by a Zero. He's only 0.4 off his best lap, and that's a 1:42.5. But he's still in under 1:43 pace. That is very quick. These things love to rev out, make a lot of noise. Nice brake work by Zero. You can see throttle and brake, so on the speedo, the green mark is the throttle level, and over to the left side is the brake marker. And just half throttling. Oh, that's Corb. It's gone for a big spin as Zero takes it cautious. You can see a bit of damage on the front over there. There's some yellow front end. I think that may have been Rooney. So we did see Rooney drop off some more positions. So he's down into 11th position and he's in the pits again. So he's taken some damage. So that was his front end that we saw where Corby just spun out. So potentially could have been some debris on the track where Corby spun out. And there is Corby. I think Corby has just retired as well. He's not showing up in the list. We've lost 3. The endurance race taking some casualties. Yeah, Corby has retired that car, so he must have taken a fair bit of damage. Steph out there with a repaired car after we saw her spin out in that exact spot that we were there. Spinning out in front of a 0. And then quickly darting down the other way of the track to get that car back into the pits. So it would have been a very long lap trying to get that car back around. Rooney's bad luck's seen him. He's currently on lap 19, so he's 2 laps down from getting a great start at the lights, getting ahead of a 0. Ooh, misjudged that corner there, a little bit wide. He's probably got some cold tyres after having just been in the pits. The Kakadu's down in 10th position. No, Corby is still in it. He didn't drop out. Just could not see his name on the list. There's a battle at the moment for 7th position. Corby, D-Train and Coco Dog. Corby's got some pretty quick pace coming up along here, and the same with D-Train is also in a nice tow behind Corby. Corby's going to go for looks like he was going for an outside line, but that was just lag. They're going to have to play safe here. Car positions could be very different on the track to what they're seeing. Very quick, almost dive bombs that corner, and he hits Coco Dog. I don't know if lag was involved in that. But if it was a dive bomb into that corner pushing out Coco Dog, he will need to redress that position. Otherwise he could see himself with a hefty no redress penalty, and that's a 60-point loss. Checked out in the stewarding after the races. So don't forget to stay tuned on our Facebook page. It is all public, so you do not need to actually have an account. You can just regularly go to it, and if you have our Apex, or if you just have an Android phone, you can actually search for our Apex eSports League. We do have an app, and it has the links to our results and standings all directly from the app. So it does just load it up from the Facebook page, where it is all made publicly available, so you do not need an account to look at it. Anyone can publicly load it up on any browser or in an app, and then you can see all that. So stay tuned for results, standings and incident reports. Coco Dog managed to recover decently well after getting bumped off track. Dog looking to get up around D-Train. Doesn't look like he's taken much damage. He was lucky there was no wall to be pushed out into. This is where we saw him and Corby make contact last lap around. Kakadu's starting to come up from behind as well. He's 2 seconds behind Coco Dog. We're now on lap 23. BK Rush last lap at 2:10, so he must have been in, served his mandatory pit. We've also seen Gallen serve his. And that looks like Rooney is currently a couple of laps down, looking to get around Sami. I don't know if Sami's just lapped him or if Rooney is starting to catch up. Rooney's last lap, a 1:43.325. Sami's was a 1:44.632. So Rooney's still pushing out some pretty big pace, looking to try and catch up Sami does not want to risk trying to race a backmarker too much. May just want to let him through. He's only just trying to regain some lost laps. If Rooney is starting to push out some pretty big pace like that, it's just safer to let him around and carry on. Especially when Sami is at an almost 23-second gap behind our race leader. So Zero, our championship leader, looking pretty good to have a flawless victory in the Ginetta GT5 challenge. Disconnected. It looks like Philly has still managed to hang back and watch the remainder of the race. Drivers retire. They do still get points on the board. If they quit the session, classes disconnect and they will not see themselves on the scoreboard at the end of the race. If you do take quite critical damage retiring, you will at least still be classed as finishing the race. DK Rush got 37 seconds behind Sami, but DK has pit. Sami and a Zero do need to pit. McCliff has moved up into 4th position now, so he's been silently plugging away, making his way up still towards the top. After Rooney and Corby spills out towards the top, he was able to recover a couple of positions after that early spin. And I think Mick has pit as well, so that's not going to be enough to be able to catch up, as DK Rush has already pit as well. That's horrible, Phil. So as you don't have chat in Twitch, so Philly has jumped in the chat, mentioned his pit strategy was frozen and he couldn't get his car fixed after taking that damage. Having to retire that car out. It's very unfortunate for the final. But we'll be getting some points on the board. He's worth some pretty good points as well. It's usually a victory in the sprint. You see 60 points, and for 16th in the final race is worth 68. So the points are worth double that of the main races of the rounds. So some huge points up for grabs. We got a 0-1-43 on track to have himself 240 points for a victory, and he's already got 25 points for the qualifying. Let's have a look and see if he's been able to shave off that time. So far we've got Rooney with the quickest time out there, 1:42.352. So he is set for the fastest lap, so that's an extra 10 points. Rooney's going to need that with a bit of bad luck that he's had. Rooney is unlapping himself. That's his aim, so he'd gotten around Sami. I think that's Coco Dog that he's just gotten past. Yes, that is Coco Dog. Coco Dog's currently on lap 25, and Rooney's on lap 24. He's really working well. That last lap of 1:43.9, that's the quickest car out on the track at the moment. Mick has had a very good recovery. It's unfortunate if he did not have that spill and it was at that section of track just there as he's gone past. So we saw him early on, I think it was lap 2 or 3. If that hadn't have occurred, we probably would have been seeing him in position 2. And here we go, we've got Sami heading into the pits now. We can expect Zero will pit in a couple of laps. Yes, we can see Philly's car just off to the side there. So Zero will probably at least stay out for this lap. You'll see just whereabouts Sami will come out time-wise after he's been in for his pit. So it's a very quick pit stop. Starting to see fuel levels get down to around the qualifying loads now, so we're going to see some very quick times. Wondering if Zero is going to try and do a Brocky and set the fastest lap on the last lap. Not sure if they're swapping out for tyres or not. Through. So Zero stays out. So Sami comes out and he's 53 seconds behind. We're looking at about 25 seconds to 30 seconds for a pit stop. The Zero is set, so he'll pit at the end of this lap, I'm sure. Rooney has slipped back again, or is he trying to get around the next lot of cars? Looking at racing Corby here. So Corby is on lap 27. I'm pretty sure Rooney will be on lap 26 at the moment. This is on lap 26. He's still looking at trying to take these guys one by one and recover that lost lap. D-Train goes out wide. Corby doesn't take a shot at it. He stays back. He gets around now, both him and Rooney. There was almost 3 wide going down around the top of the mountain. Down at the base. Rooney's still trying to recover some position. Oh, he's going to go for an inside line on the hairpin. This could be tricky. Probably doesn't want to get caught up in a bingle with only a couple of laps to go. He's not going to lose a position by allowing Rooney to go. He just doesn't want to lose too much pace off from D-Train. He can let Rooney just sneak back through. That is some very quick pace along that back straight. Rooney goes for an inside line. Corby allows him through. No point getting caught up in a mess with that. And we're doing well in 6th position. Where is wearing a 2-second time penalty. And sorry, I'll bring that back up again. Gallen's got 5 seconds. That's a difference of 3 seconds, and he's currently 2 seconds behind Gallen. If he can keep at this pace and no more further time penalties, in the course of the next lap, he'll recover a position off Gallen just by way of time penalties. Mick Cliff is wearing 3 seconds, and he's also 3 seconds ahead of Gallen. If Wera really digs in and can catch up a few seconds, he could potentially steal 2 positions just by way of time penalties. Be close to getting a podium spot, so that'd be a very good outcome from the last couple of laps. Zero still didn't pit. He needs to pit now. He's definitely not going to be able to come in with the quickest time in the race. Zero last lap at 1:44, and this will be a slower one as it is a pit in and then a pit out. Actually, we've crossed the line just yet. Should be approaching for lap 30. A long way around the pits for a Zero. Let's see how quick this pit stop is. Getting the weird outfits of the drivers. That's a very quick stop. And Zero's car is looking immaculate. No marks on it whatsoever. Times have all gone bonkers now. Usually happens once the race leader pits in. So he comes out from the pits for the final lap. And he's nearly 24 seconds ahead. And Wira is still trying to look at catching up a bit of ground on Gallen. He's close enough at the moment that he will steal Gallen's position away from him as long as he keeps this same distance behind. Oh, he gets that rear out into a nice slide. That was some very quick pace down that back straight. He doesn't need to dig real deep. He just needs to keep this pace just for one more lap. It's not going to be enough, I think, to steal a position away from Mickliffe. He's currently about 25 seconds off from position 3. DK Rush is looking pretty safe for a spot on the podium. We got Corby looking to get past Coco Dob. And Zero is catching up on these guys as well. Here we are, we're about to see the finish. Zero about to cross the line for the last time in the Ginetta GT5 Challenge. This is 9 wins from 9 races. A flawless victory for a Zero. Crosses the line, congratulations a Zero. Brilliant drive for this series. It's a championship win. Zero is the Apex eSports League Ginetta GT5 champion. Here comes Sami crossing the line, spot on the podium, 2nd position. Well done to Sami. DK Rush running up in 3rd position to take a spot on the podium. We're going to see some names change on the board here. We keep an eye on the board for Mick Gallen and Wira. Wira is only 1 second. Oh no, he's less than a second off pace from Gallen, but I don't think it's enough to get ahead. Congratulations, Mick. He gets in 4th position. Oh, we've got side by side Wira and Gallen for the finish line. They don't need a photo finish because Wira moves up anyway. So he takes 5th position. Gallen drops into 6th position. Well done, Wira and Gallen. Another lap and Wira probably would have been able to get Mickliffe. That was some very quick pace on those last few laps by Wira. Oh, that's Rooney just ahead, and it looks like he's missing that front end on that car again. He's had some impeccable bad luck for this race. But he's been showing some insane pace around the track, and he's got the fastest lap in the race. Here's D-Train crossing the line. Oh, big hit into Rooney at the finish line. So D-Train takes 7, Corby in 8th. And there we have it, the conclusion of the Ginetta GT5 Challenge. And we have a 0-143 taking victory for the 9th consecutive time in the series. So that's all races going as a victory to a 0. So congratulations, and almost a clean sweep, just not getting the fastest lap in the race tonight. So then we also have Sami on the podium in second position. And then DK Rush in third position, followed by Mick Cliff, Wira, Gallen, D-Train, Corby, Cocodog, Kakadu, Rooney, Steph, and Philly Manili had to retire on lap 11 due to him not being able to get that car fixed in the pits, so causing some issues. But then he gets some points on the board to be able to at least have a shot at still fighting for a spot on the podium for the championship. So that concludes the Ginetta GT5 challenge. So next week we start at the same time. Broadcast starts at 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. It's a 5-round series and it's the Apex eSports League Toyota 86 Championship. Round 1, it is Watkins Glen International Short. So it is custom setups for the cars, and then it is some pretty short course racing again, so following the same suit as we have for the Ginettas. So we should see some very tight action, and then with some custom setups we should see some very quick times and some differences out on track. So be sure to hit that follow button so you get notified when we go live for the start of the championship, and don't forget to check out our Facebook page as well to see the results and standings. And Zero, being the champion, has won himself an Apex eSports League stubby cooler as well, so that will be going out to him. So stay tuned, and we hope to see you trackside next week. Thanks for tuning in.